Video here. Today we're going to be talking about the Monarch support. Before I go any more in depth, I just kind of want to say Merry Christmas. You may not all believe in Christmas or celebrate it or whatever, but I just wanted to say Merry Christmas for those of you who do. It's a national holiday in America, so why not? Let's kind of get into the video. I decided to talk about the Monarch support as a whole instead of individual specific cards. Starter Deck's releasing in a couple of months. It was either 1 month, I think it might have been in the beginning of January. The Monarch Starter Deck, or Structure Deck, whatever you want to call it, adds a lot of cards to the game for Monarchs that just kind of make a Monarch almost an auto-win deck. You can turn 1 lock your opponent out of the extra deck, and then you can turn 2 lock them out of targeting or affecting your cards, and within a couple of turns, if you're really lucky, you can really just establish an invincible board to most anything. I kind of wanted to talk about what I thought about the archetype, or not just the archetype, but the way that the deck all works. So, a lot of the cards say no extra deck cards. It also stops you from fusing with pendulums really well, because if you put a pendulum, it goes to the extra deck, and now you can't use your spells and such. The majority of the things I wanted to mention was, first of all, this is going to be really strong. It's going to be overpowered. There's going to be a triangle of decks. Monarchs beat Pepe, Pepe beat Cosmo, Cosmo beats Monarch. It's like a little triangle I've kind of discovered. Cosmo had the ability to just run over the guys with their big ships, the Destroyer and the other one, the Dark Eclipser. The stat itself is why I'm thinking that people are going to start running the Eclipser, maybe even over one, maybe running 1 Forerunner and 3 Eclipser, 3 Destroyer. Simply because, even though the gain 1,000 life points is strong, I just feel like the Eclipser's effect, or just the fact that Eclipser is 3,000 beats over the 28 of the Mega Monarchs, and I feel like it will just be seeing more play, so that way you have more Destroyers in essence, so you can constantly be beating over the opponent's cards. Now, something else I want to kind of mention is I just feel like the little matchups, the Monarch deck is a really cheap auto win. Using almost 0 cards outside of the starter deck, you're able to buy 3 starter decks and have a top tier deck. It's almost as consistent as the Pepe, but you need stuff like Eccentric and things like that weren't included in the starter deck. The Monarch deck, as I've been researching, it looks as if you can just buy 3 decks and have the top tier deck. They don't run extra deck cards, so you don't have to worry about the extra deck, and you can just have this really, really cheap top tier deck. Now, I can't tell if that's a good or a bad thing. It's a good thing, because anyone can play the deck. Anybody can now play Monarchs, and anybody can have a top tier deck, which is something that the meta's been really struggling in. It's I can't play a deck unless I devote several $100s to it. The only problem is, the deck is an impressive style, so I don't know how long they'll be able to play this deck. Maybe it'll be 1 format before something is hit. And what do you even hit in Monarchs? The best card I think is the Field Spell, which prevents just extra deck summoning and a bunch of other things. And I feel like if they added that card just to ban it, then we're back to the topic I mentioned in the previous video I made about if the point of a ban list is just to add cards that they can remove. I don't think that we should have the ban, I don't think we should have those cards in the first place. So if they are only adding the Field Spell to ban it again, then I see a huge problem with that. Aside from that, I've been doing a lot of research on the archetype and a lot of interesting things I've been finding out. Something cool that I was thinking about trying out, there's a spell that came out in a battle pack that said, reveal top 5 cards, put them in any order, then you get an additional tribute summon that turn. Why I liked that was it mainly was there. It allows you to play stuff like Kuraz, which says tribute cards, draw cards. You get to choose what you draw, as well as it lets you play Trap Tricks. Not everyone's going to play Trap Tricks. They're going to probably prefer to run the Baby Monarchs, and I'll probably be trying Baby Monarchs and Trap Tricks in the deck. But Trap Tricks are able to be normal summoned, get their effects, and then it lets you tribute summon into things. And you can't run Exceed, so you probably won't use much more than Murmillo, but I just feel like the extra deck not being used does not mean you cannot use level 4 monsters. I think it's really cool. One build that people have been using is they throw 8 Exceeds in their extra deck, and then they summon the Mega Monarch, tribute the Mega Monarch, and burn 8 cards from theirs and 8 cards from the opponent, so the opponent just doesn't have half of their extra deck. It takes a lot of options out of there. People who use very specific ones, like I use 2 Queen, 2 Leviers, and then my fusion cards, and then everything else is text or help situations. If I have to sit there and remove all of those text situations, I'm left with Levier, Queen, fusions, And that means that I have to be much more careful about how I play. Very, very more like specific in all the plays. It's very interesting because I feel like the Monarch deck can play different ways, and the Monarchs being used with like other decks like the Trap Tricks engine and such, I feel like it's really cool, really strong, and I'd like to really test it out. That's really all I have to say about it. I think it's really strong, and I think it's cool that it's going to be cheap. I don't know how I feel about the Oppressive deck being the best deck, but it'll be very interesting. That's all I really have to say about that. A Merry Christmas, and as always, have a wonderful day.